Woodward with you to talk about Friday night football, and we've got a couple of great games here. Firstly, we have the two Queensland teams, the Titans and the Cowboys. And you might remember that the Titans got off to a good start in round one when they went up to North Queensland and they actually defeated the Queensland Cowboys, and the Queensland Cowboys were unable to score a point on that occasion. They actually beat them 18-0, quite a very, very big surprise, which often happens in the early rounds of a season. But since then, the Titans suffered a lot of injuries, and the Cowboys have gone on to be up in the top four in the NRL and one of the contenders for the competition. And while the Titans don't look like they'll be playing semi-finals at this stage, as a matter of fact, I'm not prepared to say they won't, they've finally got their best players back, and when they got their best team on the field, they are a very formidable team. We had a good win with them last week when the market were being twos on Newcastle, and we assessed them at even money. So we were able to secure overs and actually get the win. And if you keep getting overs, you'll have a big 12 months. And really, that's what it's all about. And as far as the prices are concerned here, I really don't think there's a lot in this. And the bookmakers' early prices were $2.25. The Cowboys $1.65. So $2.25 outsiders. The Titans playing at home after they've already beaten the Cowboys in round one, and they got their basically got their best team on the field. I have to say, I think it's quite good value. Jamal, Idris and Beau champion coming into the centres has given that back line a lot of stability. They were licking points all over the place, that back line, and that's they've been able to run off the good work that the forwards have done. And when we're talking about the forwards, we're talking about Nate, Myles, Creagh, Bird, Ashley Harrison, all coming from State of Origin. And of course, Luke Bailey is an ex-State of Origin player. Matt Srama is State of Origin class. He's an outstanding young talent at the hooker. And Mark Minichiello is a terrific club player. So it's a good, classy forward pack. And we've just talked about the two centres. Two fly machine wingers in Kevin Gordon and David Mead, and a promising young 5'8", Aidan, Sezer. The real reason why we went for the Titans last week against the Knights was the fact that Scott Prince, their rudder and captain, came in and he gave them a lot of stability, a lot of direction, and a kicking game, which is just critical at the end of 5 tackles. I don't see any reason why they won't be competitive at home again. They've got their State of Origin guys backing up, but they're backing up at home. The big difference here is the Cowboys, since State of Origin a week and a half ago, they've just basically lived at an airport. They've gone from Melbourne, flown to North Queensland, flown back to Sydney, and then from Sydney back up to North Queensland, and then from North Queensland back to the Gold Coast. Now, I'm not sure whether they were able to go straight to the Gold Coast or they went to Brisbane and then the Gold Coast. But needless to say, they have spent a lot of hours at an airport in the last week and a half, and they must be giddy. They're State of Origin players. But having said that, they're the best players in the business. Jonathan Thurston is just an out-and-out superstar, best player in the world, and he can win this game on his own. He's in devastating form, as he has been for the last 5 or 6 years. Brent Tate went sensational in the State of Origin. Matt Scott, a long way from his best, but he's still a class act. And James Tamu just keeps getting better. I've certainly underestimated him. He's a lot better than what I thought he was. But you have to wonder if these guys keep backing up with the work that they've had and the downtime at airports. And it's a big worry, those trips. Going to North Queensland is not, well, it's 3 hours from Brisbane, so that makes it 4 hours from Melbourne. It's a lot of travelling. It's not an ideal preparation when you're talking about coming back, playing fresh and playing away again. You've got to get these guys to keep coming up again. And the short backup is not ideal for the Cowboys. And I think the Titans have got some edges here at home. They've got basically the best team in. They're fresh, they're at home. And I think at the odds, it's the only way we can be in this game. So we're going to go for the Titans to cause an upset against the Cowboys. The other game, really looking forward to, two of the class teams in the competition, the Sea Eagles and the Dragons. And the stats are interesting, and we've done our assessment on the fact that Kieran Foran will be playing, and he trained very strongly yesterday afternoon, and he's been given the green light to play. So we'll do everything on the assumption that he will play, and he will be okay. The Seagulls are around twos on $1.50, the Dragons $2.60. And look, the Dragons, they just really struggle to score points in recent weeks, but they'll come into this game knowing that they've beaten Manly at the last 4 times they've played Manly, and that's a lot of confidence for a team. Having said that, 3 of the last 4 times they've played at Brookvale, they've got beaten. So those 4 straight wins were all away from Brookvale Oval. It's a lot different when they're playing at the ground. I need to point this out to you. The Dragons are last in the NRL for points scored, averaging about 15.2 points per game. That's just disgraceful. That's just not good enough, and the coach needs to do a bit of tweaking there. I noticed he's brought Trent Merrin in the start, so that's a start. He can score tries, but more importantly, he's got a good offload near the line, which could promote tries, and he normally comes off the bench. 25.3 points from the last 4 games versus Manly. So while St George have only been scoring around 15 points, they've scored 25 points from their last 4 games against Manly away from home. Importantly, when they play at Brookvale, they only score 13.5 points, so that's under their average. So they don't like Brookvale. They go awful at Brookvale. The important thing is Manly's outstanding fullback, Brett Stewart. He hasn't played in a losing Seagulls team since 2008. Pretty important stat. He loves the place, and we can expect him to probably score a try too tonight. The big red flag for Manly coach is the fact that Manly are running last. From the last 6 games played in the NRL for Manly, they're running last for missed tackles. Something's happened with their missed tackles. Having said that, they actually defend their line really good. When they're on their line and they're in a siege position, they go very well. But during broken field play, they just lost. They don't know what to do, and they do give up a lot of missed tackles there. So that's something that they need to fix. It's incredible that they're going so well, they're so high up in the competition, and they're running lots of missed tackles in the last 6 games. It's a big problem for the coach, and he needs to fix it, but you know it can be fixed because they won the premiership last year, and you don't win a premiership unless you do most of the things right. Just quickly on the Seagulls team, Anthony Watmoe has been cleared to play along with Kieran Foran. That's important, and the reason why Kieran Foran is important to come in to replace his brother, and I think his brother's got a terrific kicking game, even better than Kieran, but what was happening is the ball just wasn't getting out to the left. Not that Matai is playing tonight, but he just wasn't getting out that way, and that's a 5/8 role, and Kieran will distribute the ball well. He'll know whether to run himself or whether to swing it out wide, and that was what was lacking with the Seagulls. We'll get that back tonight, and I think you'll find that Kieran Foran, he'll match up nicely with Dean Barre, who sadly had gone to the Panthers. I can't believe Manly have let him go. I think he's a gun. Very astute purchase there by Penrith, I have to say. Michael Oldfield comes in on the wing. Wolfman hasn't passed the fitness test. I think that's like for like. They don't lose anything there. And look, basically, with the exception of Tony Williams, this is the Seagulls' best team. And they're playing at home. They're coming off a season low. I love being on a good team when they just had a season low away from home and they come back to home. They should be winning this game. And let me say this to you. If they don't win this game, they're in awful trouble for the season. They, in my opinion, mathematically, will not make first or second in the premiership, and that's where they really need to be, finish first or second. Otherwise, they're going to find they'll have their first game in probably Brisbane or Melbourne, first up in the semi-finals, and it's not an ideal situation. So they'll be looking to win this game and get themselves certainly in the top 4, but ideally in the top 2. Absolutely crucial for them, this game, Manly. For the Dragons' point of view, the coach has got to be kidding playing Daniel Vidot. Has Daniel Vidot got something on the coach? And he'll tell the world if he doesn't select him. I don't know what's going on, but he just keeps making mistakes, having shockers week after week, and he keeps getting picked. And it's not like they haven't got anybody. They've got a guy called Chase Stanley on the bench who goes terrific. I just don't know what's going on there. I have to say that the main problem with the Dragons is that their list manager hasn't done a good job looking at the birth certificates and bringing in new blood, and he's allowed some of the stalwarts in the club to get old, and basically that's what's happening now. Now, let's just name some of those guys: Matt Cooper, Ben Hornby, Dan Hunt, Ben Creagh, Dean Young, especially. Those guys haven't shown me anything this year. Some of those guys should be retired and away past their best. And you just can't carry that many players in the side. If you asked me to name one guy in the Seagulls who I think should be retired, I couldn't do that. Despite the fact they went awful last week, I couldn't do that. They do get Jason King back this week also at Manly, which I think is a big in, despite the fact he's got a bit of age on him. He's been in great form. He's just been terrific for the club this year, and I think they'll welcome him back. But I've mentioned that Trent Merrin has been moved up in the forward line. I think that's an offensive move, and I think it's a good move. I don't know why they've never started with him in the first place. It's about time we saw Beau Scott do something. Nathan Fien comes back. I don't think that'll make any difference. I'm not a big rap for Nathan Fien, even though he's an international Kiwi. Even though he's not a Kiwi, but he's an international Kiwi. I would like to see some of the young guys like Jake Marketo and Jack de Belin get more of a go in this team. They're the young up-and-comers with the young blood, and some of these old guys in the St George team. The structure is just not working for the coach. They're not able to score tries, and I've already said to you they've been averaging 13.5 points at Brookvale Oval against the Seagulls, and I can assure you the Seagulls will be scoring more than 13.5. So it all looks like a Seagulls win. It has to be. It's very important. I think the Dragons are going to struggle to make the semi-finals. They will certainly have to win games like this if they want to get back into the competition. But I think we're probably looking at 2012 for the Dragons at this stage. I've been very, very disappointed in them. But there it is for me. Friday night, it's a good game. I think Seagulls will be winning one of the games, and I think the Titans at the odds are the terrific value in the other game. Hope you have a good Friday night footy, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.